Hi, this is David with entry number 816, 17, here in this little park area that I've recorded a couple times at. I wanted to get something off my chest today because there's no other outlet for me to do it, and that is the fact that I'm someone who gets very easily, I've learned about myself that I'm someone who gets very easily irritated at I don't really know what the real word for it would be. It's not quite ignorance, but it's not anything else. It's a very, very specific feeling that I'm experiencing very much so at the hostel, and it's this experience. It's this feeling of, well, I suppose it would be like a child giving his or her parents life advice, and in the sense that you know so much more than the other person does, like infinitesimally more about a subject than someone else, and they talk about it like they know everything. And it's a very interesting feeling. It's a stupid feeling. This is not a problem, obviously. It's not a real issue. But, whoa, check this out. Look at this. Look at the size of this. That's my ear. I have a big ear, but that's a big snail right here. Basically, like, it's just an issue that you find these travelers that come through the hostel, and unfortunately, a lot of them are these American types. And we just got 2 new Americans, by the way, so that's what's burdened us. They're these American types who are so vehemently sure of their experience being kind of unique and somewhat all-encompassing that they're so confident that their way is kind of like the way. And it's such a kind of unique thing to come across. Now, granted, there are a lot of other examples of this, like in Western society at the moment, where people feel like entitled, or they know more than like their instructors. But it's so frustrating, and it's so hard for me not to say, no, you don't know about this, and like your experience doesn't mean that the experience will be the same for everyone. And it's such like a vexing thing. And I know what they're doing. It has no malice behind it. It has no kind of negativity behind it. It's just pure ignorance. And by saying that right now, if you call someone ignorant in this day and age, that is like an extremely negative thing. That isn't like a positive characteristic. People will take being called ignorant as an insult. And you know what? Maybe it is. Maybe it's not. But I really feel like these people aren't, obviously they're not trying to be dumb, or they're not trying to be mean. But what they're doing is just so kind of unintentionally, intellectually dishonest. Okay, so it's unintentional, but on an intellectually honest stance, there's no legs for it, and there's no kind of like reason for it to be like that. It's a very unique feeling for me to be exposed to, because it's so kind of difficult not to correct them, and so difficult not to kind of tell them that no, like you're incorrect. This is not the right way. This is a very unique individual perspective, and that just because you had it this way doesn't mean that it's going to be this way for everyone. And I know a lot of it stems from me being a sort of pessimistic or curmudgeon person, but goddamn does it not irritate me. It just sticks in my craw, like pokes me and prods me, and in a way that I can't really describe effectively. It's a very unique thing for me. And at the end of the day, I recognize that it's not a huge deal. But there are these 2 American girls right now And if you've ever seen the show Girls on HBO, it's a very similar thing where you have these people, both of these girls are friends from New York City, so it's almost exactly like the show. And they're both living in this kind of like, I don't know how you would describe it, like an enchanted bubble. Like a veil, under a veil of ignorant protection. And it's like this thing, and it's like so annoying. And you just want to rip it off and go like, like this isn't how people are supposed to live. This isn't like truth. This isn't honesty. And it's a very strange and kind of unique way of how they're living their lives right now. And I know it's like a really kind of like asshole move to kind of take that away from someone, but goddamn, is it not terrifyingly upsetting to not be able to do it? You almost feel like restricted in a way, or like taken, like chained almost. Is not a really good description, I know, but it's very odd. And in many ways, I know this isn't really a huge problem, and it shouldn't be, and it isn't. But in other ways, there's no bigger problem than allowing people like that to continue to live in like a fantasy world. And I know it's like not fair, and it's kind of silly to get angry about this kind of thing, but nonetheless, the effect it has on my kind of consciousness is tangibly real. Anyway, that's about it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye.